My name is Jeff Burkhart. I build triple I mandolins, custom stringed instruments in Denver, Colorado. I first started playing music in fourth grade. I think my mom got me piano lessons from this lovely teacher who made me cry every week. And it just was not, it didn't cultivate a love of music that coincided with my love of listening to it. And then, so we quit that after a couple years, and then they got me a guitar for Christmas, and then that was like sixth grade. And yeah, it was just. Then when I got to college, a neighbor next to me in the dorm was a fiddle player, and he's in Montana now, really cool guy, Matt Heron. And he let me borrow a mandolin, and I borrowed it for like 3 months, most of a semester, and then decided to buy my own. I got a cheap one and started doing that. So I played that for 3 years, and at that point it was a guitar for like 15, and I was ready for an upgrade to move up. And I'd moved to Boulder at that point, and just couldn't afford. I mean, this would have been 2003, so. Gibson, you're either buying the cheapest Gibson instrument was like a $3,000 F9, I think. I don't even think they had the festivals yet. And, or else like not even Eastman, I'm not even sure they were around, or a Kentucky. And so Kentucky was a little bit better than what I had, but I wanted Gibson quality. So I thought I'd start making them. And I'd built an electric guitar in high school, and, I felt pretty comfortable with my woodworking skills. And so the first mandolin I made is probably the worst mandolin ever made in the history of the world. It's bad. It's really bad. And I thought I was being creative and thoughtful, and turns out I was just doing it wrong. So I built 4 or 5. I think this was in my early 20s. I was 21, I think, when I built the first one. And yeah, then I got a book after the 5th one. I got a book on how to build them. And then I learned like, oh, well, this is what you do, and that's what you do. It's the Roger Siminoff book, the ultimate guide to building a bluegrass mandolin or something. It's gotten a lot of people started. For me, it just got me caught up. And then it was a matter of getting better tools. Like the first 5 instruments I had a drill and a handsaw and a Dremel. And I caught myself on fire like very early on, learning how to bend sides. And yeah, it's just been, I've taken a hard road to learning. I never had lessons on how to do it. Just kind of figured it out. And this whole shop has been put together through mandolin stuff. So this is a part of the shop where I keep my current projects. This is an octave mandolin that I'm building right now. This one right here is an F style with mahogany back and sides. The back is going to be really cool on that guy. This is another F style with maple back and sides. And this will be an A style with maple back and sides. All of these will end up in stores, hopefully at some point this summer. When I started building, it was more out of like a need for a good instrument. And then it was needing to build a better instrument. And then it was, well, maybe I should start trying to sell these or try and make some money off of it. So one of my dad's friends wanted a custom mandolin, and this was my 5th instrument. And we got together, and I built it for him pretty much for the cost of materials. And that was nice, because then I had enough to buy the next one and move on from there. And I was able to use that mandolin at Red Rocks Community College as sort of like my business card for this is what I do. And that got me a job there teaching. So in that 1 year, I guess I opened up the door for selling instruments. And the whole goal of selling them was just so that I could buy more tools, so that the next time I could make one a little bit easier, a little bit more efficiently. So in that 1 year, it was selling instruments and making money teaching people how to do it. Which I was at school at CU to become a teacher at that point also. So pedagogy and all of that kind of stuff, reaching people, finding passions and developing them. All those things fit together. So yeah, and it's never been something like I don't want to dominate the market or anything. I don't want to. It's always been a part-time thing. I was a teacher for 7 years, real estate agent now. As far as the jobs that pay the bills. But this has become more and more something that I can do and I can do well. Yeah, so this is actually the first octave mandolin ever built. Um, Design I came up with all myself. I came up with the graduations, the arching, um, all of that. It's pretty much made from leftovers from the shop, just some maple I had sitting around. Not very fancy, pretty plain. I ended up drilling through the depth stop on my drill press. Decided to stop working, and so that wasn't cool. That made it mine forever. And yeah, I think it's an Engelmann top. I'm pretty sure it's an Engelmann top. It could be Sitka spruce. I just don't remember. So it's an octave mandolin, so it's bigger than a mandolin by an octave. So it's there instead of there, and the scale length isn't quite twice as big, but it's a lot bigger. So it's a lot stretchier. Your familiar mandolin chords just do not translate. Well, I guess the D could. But it's not really meant for chopping in the way that a mandolin is. It's good for these big open chords. And then I haven't done a whole lot with it. Oh, but on this one I took out 4 strings, so it's just single courses instead of paired courses. So it sounds more like a guitar. But I found some cool like voicings. We have an incredible picking community here in the Front Range, is what I'm most familiar with. And almost, excuse me, almost any night of the week you can go out to a brewery or a restaurant or somewhere and play bluegrass with friends. And usually you can get a free beer or a kombucha or something from those places when you do. And yeah, um, I started doing that somewhat religiously about 4 years ago, and pretty much most of my friends, certainly my closer friends, of late have grown out of those picking communities. So yeah, it's been incredible. I've been wanting to host one on this end of town on Mondays, and so I think I'm gonna start doing that. I feel like I know enough of the music now to be a good host, and